Even after the song.
First impressions, I mean, there's no net in the middle of the track. I'm used to a big net out there somewhere. That was blocking the further half of the track we didn't use for temp Euros. Apart from that, it's pretty much the same. They've changed the big tabletop a little bit in the middle. It's a lot lower on the downside. I think it's to make the track more viewable on the just past it, because when we looked at it when we were racing temp scale, you couldn't really see much of that. Apart from that, they've redone the surface. It looks like it's going to be a little bit dusty for the first few runs. A bit of grass in there, but pretty similar, to be honest. Well, as I've not drove that back section, for me I've got to learn that first, so I could lose or gain any bit there. But where we found we could gain a lot of time at the temp scale Euros was the small little triple with the curbs with the reflectors on there. We're down here by the tabletop, the corner tabletop, and the free fingers now. Two parts you can make a lot of time or lose a lot of time. You have to come into the tabletop, get the right line, hit the downside, try not to touch the top bit. If you do that, you can get good drive into this corner down here. The only problem with this corner is if it stays dry and you get no water on there, it's going to get quite dusty and get rutted. So you could lose a bit of rear end, you could start to slide out. Also the dot on the corner becomes quite difficult to see when it gets dusty because it kind of blends in a little. So once you've found your mark on that corner, then you have to get good drive to head out to these free fingers. You have to keep your speed, hit the fingers around in the middle and just make sure you clear them. If you come too tight, the track really has a tendency to pull you in tight, and we were just running on the grass at the Euros. So they put these lovely reflectors here, and unfortunately they wrote off a few temp scale cars, but I think an 8 scale car might be a little bit of a match for it, but they still make you crash. And as you can see, or they haven't put them out yet, but there's no marshals around here. You crash there, you're losing 5 seconds at least. So, you know, that's crucial. And then from this section, you have to get good drive again. Try not to get it too sideways under the crossover onto the concrete section where you could save yourself a lot of time. You have to hug the pipe on the right hand side, looking into it now, get on the brakes, little bit of gas to make it steer, hairpin round and carry as much speed, as much steering as possible. If you go on there and start understeering, you're running along the curve for the whole next corner. So they're 3 crucial parts. Also parts that could rut up that could really play a factor later in the race is you go down the front straight here and you do a 90 left into the back straight. That 90 left really starts to rut up. It gets holy, you have to start picking different lines, start running wider, and you know it could become quite risky. So you can see a lot of people crashing there. So you know, if it rains a little bit and we get a bit wet, the track might hold together, but if it stays scorching like this and it gets dry, it could turn into a pretty bumpy one. But you know, every track's different when it's had a bit of rain and a bit of sun on it, so we'll have to see.